Hey, it's MJ. I want to thank you for joining me for today's Fireside chat. And today's topic is three additional tips to improve relationships. Um, not sure if you guys caught me last week, but last week's video is posted as well. So if you want to play catch up, feel free to watch that video before you watch this video. Um, but just a little recap. Last week we were talking about how relationships are collaborative. You want them to be win win. And with that, it's communication, sharing, and collaboration. Those three items help make a successful relationship. So, with that, today's three topics, or three tips, should I say, are break society rules for relationships. Um, Also, don't judge yourself or others in relationships. And you can't share love unless you are full of love yourself. Okay? So, yeah, those are this week's three tips. So, what do I mean by break society's rules for your relationship? Well, I don't know if you guys remember like I do, but growing up, there was just the fairy tale and Prince Charming is going to ride up on the horse and take the princess away, and you guys get married, and you have the house, the white picket fence, the 2.5 kids, and the dog. Wife stays home, husband goes to work. You guys get what I'm talking about. Well, we all know that in today's society, that just does not work and it does not happen that way. That's not reality. Um, a lot of times, and then, with the movie Jerry Maguire, where, he's like, "You complete me." And everybody's like, "Oh, that was just so nice." Well, no one completes you. So breaking all those things that, society may have instilled in us as we were, matriculating through our ages, it's just not, it's not reality. And the sooner, people wake up and see what reality really is, the better off everybody will be. Um, Relationships can be great, but they take work. And if we're trying to live up to all these labels and expectations that are being placed on us through society or others, sometimes there's familial pressure as well. Mothers telling their daughters, if you're 25 and you're not married, what's wrong with you? So yeah, that's not healthy as well. So um, just knowing that no one can complete you. If you're in a relationship, you should be complete prior to getting into that relationship. You can't go into a relationship looking for someone else to fix the issues that you may have. Um, and that's huge, and that's why a lot of relationships fail, because people go into relationships looking for things that they don't have within themselves. They're thinking they can find it in somebody else, and that's just not the case. So, another role or label that society has put on people in relationships is the different roles in the household. Like, and for instance, I'm talking about how initially society was like the wife stays home, takes care of the kids, cooks the dinner, cleans, is a soccer mom, whatever the case may be. Well, those roles may have changed, and now, more husbands are actually doing those things. So don't put those labels on your personal relationship. You guys do whatever works for you. That's it in a nutshell. And don't worry about what society says you should or should not be doing in your relationship. You do what works for you. Um, and also, in relationships, a lot of relationships are built on what we as individuals saw coming up. We were talking about earlier how, you know, how your parents were or were not, how those things impact who you are as an adult and in your adult relationships. A lot of times people saw dysfunction. Whether it was an aggressive mother, a passive father, or an aggressive father and a passive mother. Do you mirror those behaviors in your current relationship? Those are things that you need to ask yourself. And if so, how can you change them so your relationship can be healthier than the ones that you saw coming up? Just something to think about. Um, Also, if you're in a relationship, are you judging that other person? Are you criticizing that other person? Are you judging yourself? You know, oh, I'm too ugly. Oh, I'm too big. Oh, I'm too little. Oh, I'm too this. Oh, I'm too that. Be kind to yourself. you know, Tell yourself something positive, as well as tell your significant other something positive. A lot of people judge and criticize in their relationships, and that's not healthy either. And I want to pose the question to you: why do you feel the need to do that in your relationship? Are you using it as a form of control? Are you using it because you feel hurt? And if so, look at yourself and ask yourself those questions. And like I said, you may need some help to be able to work on that so you can have a healthy relationship. If you have poor self-esteem, you know, ask yourself why and when did that start? You don't start off with poor self-esteem. No one does. And I want you to think back to when you were a child. When we were kids, we were carefree, we were daring, we try anything, creativity flowed. You know, if we were by ourselves, we'd think of a game, just make up something. You had imaginary friends or whatever. People were able to be creative and entertain themselves. So it's like now when I hear people say how bored they are, I'm like, how? Tap back into that creativity that we all possessed as children. Tap back into that, you know, fun and carefree attitude that we had when we were children. Be creative. We dare to dream. Just because we get older, we don't have to stop all that. And it's kind of like when you do stop all that, that's when you become stagnant and just kind of like, just going through life instead of actually living and enjoying life. So, make some positive affirmations for you. Make some positive affirmations for your relationship. You can help things come into existence even though they might not already be there. Tell yourself you love you. It's okay. If you can't tell yourself that you love you, how do you expect somebody else to love you? And that's going into my third point. You can't share love unless you're full of love. If you're empty on the inside, how can you expect to love somebody else? You have to heal your hurts, your past hurts that are blocking you and blocking your ability to receive love and to love yourself. Are you full of blame, guilt, shame, anger, resentment, all those negative things because of something that may have happened in your past that you haven't dealt with? But now you're in a relationship and you're thinking that this relationship is going to fix all those things. That's not the case. The only person that can change and help you is you. And if it goes so deep, that's why I always recommend therapy. You can get with a therapist that can help you process all the things that might come up. You don't have to go through it alone. But you do. You have to forgive yourself. Maybe you've been divorced. Forgive yourself for being divorced. And, going back to what I was just saying before, don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself for making poor decisions, or that your relationship didn't last. Because today you have an opportunity to do something different. But the choice is yours. And that choice goes with you loving yourself. And love yourself enough to make the changes that might be needed. If you look at your current relationship and look at all your past relationships, the common denominator in all of those is you. So, as I was talking about last week, people want to do like this and blame the other person. Well, these three fingers are pointing back at you. So you do. There comes a point when you have to look in the mirror and be able to be honest with yourself and say, hey, I was that common denominator in all those relationships. So it's not about trying to blame that other person. So do the work. Love yourself. Start with you. Everything about you. Every lump, bump, whatever. Love you. Love yourself. And don't compare yourself to others. I like to say run your race or stay in your lane. Be the best you that you can be. Don't compare yourself to others. You're not supposed to be that person. If you were, you would have been made like that other person. But, continue to grow, continue to improve, continue to learn. Don't beat yourself up on past decisions that you may have made, because at that time, you probably made the best decision that you could with the information that you had at that time. And now today, maybe you have more information. And so now you have the opportunity to make a different decision. But again, the choice is yours. So I do my 3 tips. You can't share love unless you're full of love. Don't judge yourself and don't judge others. And don't let the society define your relationship. You define your relationship for you. You and whoever's in it with you. Okay? So anyway, I hope this helps. Thank you guys again for joining me. And this is your girl MJ signing out for now. Have a good one.